All right, this has been a pain in my butt. I'm now able to see this. This has been the main focus for tonight. In fact, it's like way back in the beginning. This is really what I was intending to do. Is I want this whole conglomerate glob thing. Let me explain what it is. This is the wattage throughout the day for today, yesterday, and the 7 days prior to that. And for the 7 days prior to that, it's just averaged across the hours and minutes throughout the day, so you can kind of see what's going on. I think there's a bit of a data issue with those 7 days, and I haven't been logging to the MySQL database long enough for this to become more steady or whatnot. Let's just say this is still in its early stages. You can see yesterday I had a break, and when I was logging corrupt data, when the Pi was no longer communicating with the device, so it's now set up to log null values, and so that's why you have that break there. The times are off. They're off by about 5 hours because I think it's in Unix time. Here's the big thing. The big thing is I can see if I'm making a change for good or for bad. So you can see yesterday and today matched up pretty well, and then they both dipped at the same time until I went outside, saw some shadows on some panels, and moved the panels, and then it goes up. So you can see I've got a lot more energy throughout the day, more watts. And then they both crisscross. And the problem here is the shadow came back, and the angle, I moved the panels at a different angle. I think you'll see like the down dips and up dips. But the angle I moved them at just was not good, and it just suffered because of that. So that's big. That's huge. There's a lot of cosmetic things I did. I added the power in the case, and then these are all the temperature components. I moved all the temperatures onto their own tab. And you can see the battery is here, and the power is here. And these two are always the same unless you're at an epoch where the temperature is starting to flatline and then go down or go up. Same thing with the battery and the remote battery. I'm going to have to test and see which the sensor represents. If I unplug that sensor, is the battery still going to be recording or not? What about the remote battery? We'll have to see what happens. The solar array, nothing's happening with that. It's 11:30 at night, so the Raspberry Pi has its own battery that I added the other day, and that pretty much charges itself to full capacity about once an hour. So these charts are just once an hour of data that you see, whereas the statistics is a full day. Okay. I added a lot of these statuses here, so you can see what kind of charging. Like the main thing I'm interested in is it'll say if it's in boost mode, float, or equalizing. There was a problem with the charging equipment status where it was giving a fault. It was saying that there was a fault, but there wasn't a problem. I ran outside, looked at it with a different device that you hook up to. There's a MT50 meter that I hook up, and it said that there were no errors. And then I found that other people had the same problem. So I think the documentation, although the documentation says it represents that there is a fault, it seems to be false. It seems to represent something else because that bit's only flagged when it is charging. State of charge, I watched this go all the way down to 25 or 30, and then it just sank immediately. So I do not trust the state of charge. It says it's 73% full. I highly doubt it. The main thing, I'm not sure if I did this yesterday. Yeah, I did it yesterday. So the main thing yesterday was I made this script that actually goes out to the charge controller, ask for what time it is on the charge controller, and then I figured out, okay, well, now let's see what time it is on the local machine, and then let's update the charge controller's clock. So this is actually modifying a setting. And what's going on here? Invalid read bits response. Oh, well, I can do that again. But it's not a big deal. There it goes. It just wrote the date, verified, and then it's showing me what the date is that the device says. And after I did that, I made a cron job that actually executes the script at 12:01 and 2:01 in the morning, so that when the daylight saving time kicks in, you'll update the clock the minute right afterwards. So anytime I go out there, the clock's always correct. For some reason, the charge controller will actually reset itself back to it's like February 27th of 2017. I think that's anytime it loses power or disconnects from the battery. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I have this running every night, so I can pretty much set it and forget it. And the main reason I want to make sure that the time is correct is because it has its own statistics that tells me how much energy has been generated and consumed for the current day, the current month, the current year, and then in total. So I want to make sure that clocks stay synchronized to the correct value, so so that it doesn't get out of sync. All right, that's about it. I guess I kind of ran through everything, but I'm more or less excited about that. It looks ugly, but it's beautiful.